Welcome to Turing Test Fiction. Can an artificial intelligence truly capture the essence of human creativity and writing? Or is there something inherently unique about the stories we tell? My name is Nigel, and I present to you two stories. Your challenge is seemingly simple. Distinguish which one was written by a human and which one sprung from an artificial intelligence. Story number 1. Loose Threads. The mop hit the floor with a thick, wet thump, flinging tendrils and drops of soapy water around it like a halo. Sam pushed and scrubbed to the point of diminishing returns, and then brought the mop head back to the portable bucket of water and dunked it in again. He didn't bother looking at the floor. He could tell how clean it was just by the level of murk in the water. It was the night shift. Best shift. Sam had been working at Apotec for 5 years, and he and the facilities manager got along well, mostly because Sam was thorough. When he was done, the small research facility was as clean as any janitor could make it, and ready for another day of what? What did the researchers do there exactly? Sam knew they drank a lot of coffee and ate most of their meals here. He knew that more than a few of the scientists would spend all night sleeping and working in shifts, living off of food specifically catered for them. But as to what that actual work was, well, the official name of the facility was Apotec Quantum Topological Research Center. Meaningless to Sam. Then, just as the mop water was getting dark enough to need changing, the lights went out. For a few seconds, everything was dark before an emergency lighting system of blue LEDs lining the hallways lit up, and an oddly distant and synthetic-sounding alarm started going off somewhere. Sam had, at some point in his orientation, been instructed to leave whatever he was doing and evacuate in the event of anything like this. But he hadn't quite finished mopping the hallway. Of course, he knew it was stupid, but it bothered him. Surely he could take just 30 seconds more to finish his job. Conceding to the seriousness of the situation, Sam mopped quickly to the end of the hallway, intending to finish there and get out. But the door was open. Or rather, a door was open. A door Sam had never seen before. That was strange, he thought. He knew every meter of the facility since he cleaned it all daily, but this was something new. Without thinking, Sam set down his mop gently on the floor and walked down the short, dark hallway. At the end was another laboratory and the center of the alarms. The room was in the shape of a hexagon, with desks and computers on all sides, facing inwards. In the center was what looked like a glass cylinder, and inside that was a mirror? Sam saw some kind of standing vertical platform, like a whiteboard, and on it was a mirror with glowing edges. When Sam walked closer, he could see that there was a crack in the enclosing cylinder. It had broken on one side and shattered enough for him to crouch down and enter through, which he did. Sam was looking at the mirror and the smooth white backing. Around its edges was a kind of spiderweb thin latticework, a pattern of tessellation that, if Sam had looked closely enough, he would have noticed to be branching and shifting as the air ionized against it with a barely audible hiss. But the border wasn't what caught his attention. Sam was entranced by the mirror itself. It was beautiful. It was the most pure, clean, reflective surface Sam had ever seen. For a man who had suffered from a compulsion towards order and cleanliness his entire life, this mirror was an object of love. Sam could see himself in it, and somehow he felt that the reflection was more real than the wet, messy man who was actually looking at it. But the more Sam looked, the more he saw. In his reflection, in this perfect mirror, he started to discern dirt, threads, dust that had seemingly settled on the image visible in the mirror. As soon as he perceived these minuscule points, Sam couldn't help himself. He reached out to the mirror and tried to pluck away these motes of dust. To his surprise, Sam could feel not just specks of dirt, but some kind of one-dimensional material. Strings. Without thinking, Sam began to pull, and as he did so, he saw a line of his own skin painlessly peel away. Underneath wasn't blood or sinew, but simply more strings. Having begun the process, Sam had no choice but to continue, and so he pulled string after string out of the perfect mirror until his own body had been deconstructed, and only his consciousness was left, overseeing a loop of strings pulling themselves through a perfect mirror. And that is perhaps where it would have ended, where it should have ended. Except, at some point, Sam noticed that there were more strings. In fact, everything was made up of strings, and he just couldn't resist the urge to pull. It's hard not to scratch an itch, isn't it? But perhaps some threads are better to not tug on. But don't worry about Sam. I'm sure it was worth it. And next, story number 2. The Janitor's Dilemma. As the clock struck midnight, Jack whistled a tune while pushing his janitor's cart through the dimly lit corridors of the top-secret government facility. He had been working the night shift for the past 5 years, and the eerie silence of the empty halls had become a familiar companion. Little did he know that this particular night would change his life forever. Jack methodically worked his way through the building, mopping floors and emptying trash cans. As he turned a corner, he noticed a door he had never seen before. Curiosity piqued, he approached the mysterious door and tried the handle. To his surprise, it was unlocked. Cautiously, Jack entered the room and found himself in a space that seemed to defy the laws of physics. The walls shimmered with an otherworldly glow, and in the center of the room stood a pulsating portal, its edges crackling with energy. Jack's heart raced as he realized that this room didn't appear on any of the facility's blueprints he had studied during his orientation. For a moment, Jack stood frozen, his mind reeling with the implications of his discovery. He knew he should report this immediately to his superiors, but a small voice in the back of his head urged him to explore the unknown. What if the portal led to a world beyond his wildest dreams? What if he could be the first human to set foot in another dimension? Jack's hand trembled as he reached for his walkie-talkie, ready to report the anomaly. But then, a sudden gust of wind emanated from the portal, as if beckoning him to step through. The janitor's curiosity overpowered his sense of duty, and he found himself drawn towards the shimmering gateway. With a deep breath, Jack crossed the threshold, and the world he knew disappeared into a blinding flash of light. When his vision cleared, he found himself standing on a vast, alien landscape. The sky was a deep shade of purple, and 2 moons hung low on the horizon. Strange, bioluminescent flora dotted the ground, and in the distance, Jack could see towering structures that seemed to defy gravity. As he took a step forward, Jack's mind raced with questions. Where was he? How would he get back home? And what would the consequences be for his unauthorized exploration? He knew that he had broken protocol, and that his actions could cost him his job, or worse. But then a thought struck him. What if this discovery could benefit humanity? What if the knowledge and resources from this alternate dimension could solve some of Earth's most pressing problems? Jack realized that he had stumbled upon an opportunity to make a difference, to be part of something greater than himself. With renewed determination, Jack began to explore the alien world, cataloging his findings and collecting samples. He knew that he would have to find his way back to his own dimension eventually, but for now, he was content to be the pioneer of this uncharted realm. Hours later, Jack stumbled back through his portal, his arms laden with strange artifacts and his mind buzzing with newfound knowledge. He knew that he would have to face the consequences of his actions, but he also knew that he had made a discovery that could change the course of human history. As he closed the door to the mysterious room behind him, Jack smiled to himself. He may have been just a janitor, but for one extraordinary night, he had been an explorer, a scientist, and a hero. And no matter what the future held, he knew that he would always cherish the memory of the incredible journey beyond the portal. Maybe real courage isn't stepping into the void. The real miracle is choosing to come back. But now you must be wondering which story felt human and which felt synthetic. Did any of the characters feel hollow? Did any of the plot beats feel disjointed? Which story was human made and which was created by a machine? Now, pause the video and write your prediction in the comments below. Which story? Story number 1, Loose Threads, or story number 2, The Janitor's Dilemma, was human? And which was machine? Now for the reveal. Are you ready? Story number 1, Loose Threads, was penned by a human. By myself, in fact. I wrote that. Story number 2, The Janitor's Dilemma, was written by an AI. It emerged from Anthropic's Claude Opus language model. Both stories were based on exactly the same writing prompt. So, did your instincts guide you to the truth or into the uncanny valley? As you reflect upon the distinction, or lack thereof, between human and machine creativity, remember the implications. In a world where the lines between reality and simulation blur, can we trust our perceptions? Or are we simply puppets in the hands of algorithms? If this experiment has left you questioning your own perception, good. Get used to that feeling. And like and subscribe because things are only going to get stranger. And I'd love for you to join us in our ongoing explorations of Turing Test Fiction. Every episode, we use 2 pieces of fiction to explore a boundary between the real and artificial that grows ever more tenuous. In fact, if you would like to submit your story to Turing Test Fiction, look in the video notes below for our next prompt and send your writing to turingtestfiction@gmail.com. We will choose one piece to feature in our next episode along with a unique AI-generated piece of writing. Please note that, appropriately, all stories will be accompanied by AI-generated illustrations. Thank you for joining us in this journey into the unknown. Let's hope we can find our way back.